All right. Good evening, one and all. It gives me an immense pleasure today to have Kwame on our YouTube channel. Let me give you a little bit introduction about Kwame. So Kwame basically lives in Minnesota. He started out as an electrical engineer and transitioned to a data engineer. He currently works with a PhD data as a data engineer. He also has a master's degree in data science and data engineering. Kwame also has a lot of certifications, such as he's a certified AWS certified solution architect. Apart from that, he has done number of certification on Apache, Elasticsearch, Apache Flume, Snowflake, and much more. First of all, thank you so much for taking out time and kind of talking to us. And I'm pretty sure that this conversation would benefit a lot of people who wants to transition to data science, data engineering. So once again, I mean, thank you so much for joining, Kwame.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me here. I'm very excited to be on this platform and to share my experience to the people out there.
That's amazing. Thank you. So I have certain questions for you.
Yes,
Uh,
sure.
so my first question is basically, Kwame, why don't you tell a little bit about yourself so people can know you a little better that I
Sure,
didn't
sure.
say? So yeah.
Yeah, definitely, right? So as you mentioned, right, yeah, my background is from electrical engineering. I went to the University of Minnesota, did my bachelor's degree. Then I took some computer science classes, but not too much, which now thinking about it, I regretted not doing that. I should have taken more computer science classes if I knew I was going to get into this field, right? But yeah, my career was more towards electrical engineering, more focused on power systems,
Mhm,
maybe power systems, power generation, power transmission, and distribution, right? And so
mhm,
I had to work on that stuff and deal with a lot of renewable energy, which is why I saw the future with data science and data engineering.
mhm,
But yeah, so I did that to work in the field for about 5 years. Then talked to a few folks who are also in the field who transitioned from engineering to data science and data engineering, where
mhm,
I got my motivation from, and I also switched to that field. But whilst doing that, then I pursued my master's degree in data science. And so that is the career path in terms of the education wise and professional wise. But in the outside of that, I'm a professional bodybuilder. I do a lot
wow.
of bodybuilding, so I love going to the gym. Well, these days with coronavirus, so I've been spending most of my time at home. I have not been doing too much of a workout,
Mhm,
but yeah, I'm very good into the fitness industry. I love working out a lot, and I give a lot of fitness tips in terms of diet. How to lose weight, how to gain muscles, and all that, right? So I've been through that, right? But these days I don't do that no more because I don't get time.
I see. I see.
There's no time. With the data engineering, bro, there's no time at all.
I see. That makes sense.
Yeah. So that is a little bit about that side of it. And my personal life, I'm married. I have a daughter, and I have also my wife is expecting another newborn coming soon in
Oh,
November.
wow. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Congratulations for that.
yeah. Thank you. So that's a little bit about me. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, are you like a more like morning person or a night person? What's your schedule like? Could you
Oh
share your
man.
schedule?
Yeah, definitely, right. So uh, mine is strange. I'm on both. The background that I came from. So originally I'm from Ghana, which is in West Africa, right?
Mhm, mhm,
And so our education system is a little different. So that really nurtured us in terms of you know you being able to stay up all night studying, you being able to get up early to also study, right? And so I was ingrained into that. So coming to the United States,
mhm.
being like a morning person or evening person, really, I don't mind. I could wake up early in the morning and I'm good to go.
All right.
I could stay up all night if I need to get things done. I gotta do it, and I'll stay up all
Wow.
night to get it done. So that motivation is there, right? Because I know what I want. If I have to stay up night to get it done, and I'll sleep late, I will still get up early.
Wow, that's amazing.
That is what fascinates people. But I've been able to do it by God's grace, right? And so, your question whether it's a morning person or evening person, I'm both. I would say.
All right, that makes sense. So, what do you like more, like coffee or tea? What do you
Oh,
enjoy
yeah.
having more?
So recently is when I started taking coffee. I think actually, especially when I started working in the professional world. But in school, I barely take any coffee at all. But professionally, as I started working in the professional world, then I started drinking black coffee. So I don't put too much. Well, not too much. I don't put any cream in it, because especially once you come from the background of fitness, and you start when you look into those stuff, you say, you know what, yeah, cream, and you look at it. Every time I pick it up, I have to read the ingredients within the cream before I make a decision. Do I want to put it in, right? Because it's it has a lot of sweetening in it and all that stuff. So I would rather take, like a milk, put in like a skim milk or whatever it is in my coffee, just a little bit to dilute a little bit to have a little taste instead of too much raw black coffee, right? And so that gives it a little taste to be able to force me to drink it. Other than that, I drink coffee. Nice. I drink coffee. Yeah. So I'm a coffee person, I'll say.
That's interesting. I'm like more like a tea person, but yeah, coffee is also fine sometimes. That's good. Kwame, what do you think are the skills necessary as a data engineer? A lot of people are want to usually pursue a career in a data science or a data engineer. And what do you think are the skills required to be good at this field? Could you share a little bit about technologies or frameworks or whatever your expertise? What do you think one should start learning to become a data engineer for a totally beginner person?
Yeah. So yeah, I think we're getting very the internet connection is slowing down. So you might want to repeat the question again, just in case,
Sure.
because
Sorry.
people might not hear
Am I
you very
audible
well.
now?
Yeah, you're audible. It's just that the connection
Sure.
of the internet is was delayed a
Okay.
little bit.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So my question is basically, what do you think are the skills necessary for a person in order to pursue a career in data science or a data engineer? A lot of new people, want to basically become a data scientist, but not much people are aware that what all things you actually need to learn. And I guess you are very experienced in this field. So would you like to share couple of frameworks or technologies that a person should learn to become a data science or a data engineer?
Yeah, sure. No, thank you for that question. Yeah, so as you know, right, you rightfully know there's quite an enormous technology out there to learn, right? And so you always get bombarded. Where do I start from? And I've been in those positions. I'm guessing you have also been as well, right? Okay, where do I start from? I'm a new coming into the field. I don't know anything. How do I begin, right? And so one of the first thing is even before I answer the question is being able to do a very good networking, right? Get to know people who can help you to give you that insight in terms of where to start from. So that limits your bucket list in terms of the things that you need to learn, and it will help you along the way. But in regards to what you have to learn, you looking at the industry trend, right? Especially if you go into data science and data engineering. So specific to data science, mostly you want to know Python, right? You want to learn Python, right? That is data science. And then when it comes to the data engineering world, if you want to productionalize your application and everything, you want to learn Scala. So if you have a Java background, it is very, very good to pick up Scala. Right?
Okay.
If you have a Java background, it's very, very good to pick up Scala. And then once you know Java, you know Scala, learning Python wouldn't be that difficult. Right? And so the three languages, Python, Scala, and Java, will be good to pick it up. But there's always a saying that, okay, where do I start from? Because you cannot learn all the three languages at the same time, right? It's not possible, right? Because of the syntax and everything, right? And so depending on the field you want to specifically go, if you want to go into data science, that's your interest. And then you want to focus more on Python. You want to be good at Python.
I see.
That is what you want to learn, because you want to get into data science, you want to build machine learning models, you want to go to AI, you want to do a lot of AI stuff, then it's Python. But once you say, you know what, hey, I found this big data engineering work very interesting, very fascinating. I want to do something like that. I want to play with data. Okay, well, that is good, right? So then you say, okay, well, where do I start from? Well, then people have different ideas, but I would say if you can learn Java, if you know Scala, you are very good. So because you definitely, once you learn that stuff, picking up Spark is easier, right? So it's picking up the Spark framework and the tools and everything is much easier to go. But the programming languages tools that you want to learn when you want to get into the data engineering world, is the Scala. And yes, you can pick the Python, which is the Spark, which is going to be PySpark. You pick up that as well. But that would be my advice to any folks who are trying to learn some of these languages.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I am pretty sure that would be very, very useful for people who are watching this and want to go into data science and data engineering. So according to you, how many hours usually a person has to put in, for programming? What do you think are the good habits
Mhm.
required to be successful in this field? What would you say about a little bit about that, please?
Sure. Yeah. And so, per my experience, right, sometimes as an individual, where you want to get into the field and you have no experience, it's like, oh man, I don't have experience in
Mhm.
this background. And then you look at all these companies they're hiring, it's like they have this long job description. It's like, dude, well, hey, I want to get in there, but your job description alone is like 3 or 4 years. I don't have that experience.
Right.
I don't have the experience. How do I get in? Well, yeah, you need to know someone to get in. That is also good. But how do I get in? How do I build my to
Mhm.
get that level? Okay. Well, so one of the things that you want to do is to be a self motivator. You have to be able to motivate yourself as an individual,
Absolutely.
right? If you can
Absolutely.
motivate yourself very well, then you will be able to pick up and learn everything, right? So you look at the job description. You look at a few job descriptions. You say, you know what, they're asking this. You've seen the trend. Now, based on that trend, you say, you know what, I know all these companies are looking for these particular
Mhm.
skills. How can I do that? Well, you have to learn. What are the ways that you can learn? Well,
Mhm.
you have YouTubes where people have good videos, good tutorials like yourself. You have
Mhm.
good, very, very good tutorials on Python, AWS, and all that stuff, right? Those are the channels you have to do. YouTube is one of them, and as I said, right, that's what you're good at, and you're doing that for the people, and I really appreciate that because I've been following your channel,
Thank you so much.
right? So that is very, very good. So YouTube is there. You have some of the other platforms like Udemy, where it costs a few bucks to study some of these things, right?
Mhm.
And it's not easy, to be frank. It's not easy, right? So you have to be able to say, you know what, this is what I want to do. Set some goals for yourself to be able to achieve those milestones, and then be
Mhm.
able to pull some of these things on GitHub, right? So
Nice.
once you do that, every time you go to an employer and you are interviewing for a job, you can say, hey, this is what I've done. This is my GitHub repository, and then they can go in there and look at what you did, and that
Mhm.
alone tells a story, right? And so they just go there, they see the work you've done, and even if you don't have experience, just the things that you've done, that will give you the chance to talk about it during the interview. Because imagine you have a
Mhm.
resume, all you have is educational classes and everything on it, right? You nothing else, no history in terms of data engineering, data science. What are you going to talk about aside from your project you've
Nice.
done in school, right? So you have to be able to go the extra mile. That
Mhm.
okay, I want to do more, be able to pick up projects, be able to go to the some of
Mhm.
these data repositories, pull up data like Cargill, pull up
Mhm.
data, take a look at a few examples of what people have done. Try to, don't reinvent the wheel, but look at how they did it. Then try to do it something similar. See if you understand what they did. Try to see,
I
can I do
see.
the same thing, right? Once you do that, now go the extra mile. Try to do something that has not been done based on the use case that you pulled up, right? And so that is
Mhm.
how you want to go. Then it's going to build that confidence in you. It's like, yep, I think I know
Mhm.
it now. So when you go to interviews and you're explaining to people, to explain to the employer will know exactly what you're talking about because you've done it. Even though you have
Correct.
done it on the client side, but you've done it practically by
Mhm.
yourself. You have proof for it in terms of GitHub repository and all that. So that really
Mhm.
builds your confidence that yes, they can trust you. It's like, yeah, I think this guy knows what he's talking about, and let's give him a chance. And so then
Got it.
they'll give you a chance. Let's give him a chance, and based on what he's saying, he seems he's confident in what he's talking about, and then they'll give that a try. And so that is what I want
Absolutely.
people to pick up, and that to pick up and do that.
That is amazing. Do you think as doing certification will help people to get jobs faster? What is your advice on that? Should one like people? Let me put my question this way. Doing a lot of certification, will it help a person to be better at in this field, or just learning or making projects would help a person to be better at this? What do you think, how important the role of certifications plays here? Like there are so many certification, LinkedIn Learning, Udemy,
Mhm.
Coursera. So
Mhm.
would you recommend people, anyone to do like certification to be a certified in something, and
So
if yes, why?
Sure. No, thank you. That is a very, very good question, right? I really appreciate you asking that question because I have different answers for that question, right?
Hmm.
So, in terms of whether certification is good or bad, certification is good, but it doesn't necessarily mean it will guarantee you for a job, right? So there are different kinds of certification. So you taking a certification in Udemy or LinkedIn or all that stuff would not, to be frank, I don't think it will guarantee you for a job.
I
But maybe
see.
a certification for like AWS, right? That's huge because it's being used in the industry. Because
Exactly.
Udemy is like just a bunch of classes that people are taking
I
and then
see.
they want to be good at. So
Hmm.
maybe completing Elasticsearch on Udemy doesn't really mean that it will guarantee you for a job, right?
Hmm.
If let's say for instance Elasticsearch itself has like a certification by itself and you go through that and take that, yes, maybe that can give you a chance, but Udemy alone would not, right? And
Hmm.
so going to like the big companies so like AWS, Microsoft Azure, and all that
Azure.
stuff, that alone will say, you know what, this guy at least has gone through this certification because it's more of like a professional certification
I
that
see.
right. So that gives you a little leverage over some of the people who don't have it. So
I see.
imagine like there's two of us. It's me and then you, right?
Hmm.
And we are competing for the same information. Sorry, the same position. We went to the same school. We took the same classes, right? And
Hmm.
we're working on a very similar project on the side. What
Hmm.
is going to differentiate between the two of us?
I see. Certification, of course.
Maybe certification in this case. So maybe they look at it, they look at the two different resumes. We've done very similar things. We're able to explain our thoughts very well during the interview, but
Hmm.
something else could differentiate. Say, okay, we're looking for someone with some AWS skills or some Azure skills. Well, this guy has some certifications in that,
I
so
see.
let's give that maybe an upper hand, right? So that is a scenario where it kind of give you an upper hand in terms of a job, right? So that
Hmm.
is when it comes into place. But it doesn't necessarily mean it will guarantee you for a job. But
I
the
see.
other thought is if you're already in the field and you are taking those certifications, it helps. It really helps.
I
Because
see.
now you're already doing the data science or you're already doing data engineering. Companies are looking for your skills. They say, hey, we're looking for someone who is a data engineer
Hmm.
who knows AWS. Well, your resume says you are a data engineer, you have certification in AWS, a solution architect or data analytics specialty. So you know some of these skills. You know
I see.
you're not brand new to it because you're already in the field.
Hmm.
You are advancing your knowledge by taking
Perfect.
some of these certifications.
Hmm.
So the employer looking at that your resume say, yep, we want this guy. And one of the reason also is that not just because they are bringing you on board because you have certification, but the certification helps the company themselves. When the company is going out to bid for projects,
Hmm.
there's how many of your folks do have certification, and it helps them a
I
lot
see.
to be able to
I
win
see.
contracts. So
Hmm.
it doesn't necessarily help you as an individually, but it also helps the company to be able
Company.
to compete for projects because they have certain amount of engineers who have certifications
I
in
see.
AWS, in Microsoft, in Google, right? So that is when those certifications comes handy.
Wow, that was very, very helpful. Thank you for explaining that part. That would really help a lot of people. I'm pretty sure on that. I'm pretty sure you have worked very, very hard to come at this point. You have worked so many hours, lot of assignments, lot of certification. I just want you to like kind of like share your journey so people can understand. Like you really need to like put in effort. It's not success is something that does not come overnight, I would say. And I mean, you since you have worked so hard, what would be your message? Like people needs to work hard, right? Like instead of watching Netflix, they can learn some course. What is your message? What would you like to tell, like how hard you have worked to come
Sure.
at this point?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Again, thank you for that question. So, as the industry in IT, it just keep advancing, right? So every day there's new technology,
Yep.
and so it seems like every day you have to learn, and then you can attest to that because you're always
Absolutely.
learning, and you always have to say, I don't know this, I have to make videos for it. Okay, how do I do it? Well, I have to go learn it to be able to make videos on it, and the more you make videos on that particular services, the more knowledge you gain in that particular area, right?
Hmm.
So learning, we all know, is nonstop. You're going to learn once you want to get into this field. you are always going to learn, right? You're always
Amazing.
going to
Well
learn.
said.
So yes, you're always going to learn. So that should be something at the back of your head, that keep it there, that you're always going to learn. It's non-stop learning. So personally, I spend quite a lot of time studying.
Definitely.
I had to spend quite a lot of time studying because, well, because what? Because I did not come from the background of computer science.
Yep, that's right.
And so you might have some guys who are coming from business background. You might have some guys who are coming from electrical engineering background. You might have some guys coming from mechanical engineering background. And because of the current trend, because of technology, because of the way things are changing, they also want to change their field. They want to get into the field of IT. They want to get into the field of software engineering. Well, what can they do, right? If they are guys if they are people who are go-getters, they want to get it. Well, they have to put in the time. You have to study hard. You have to study. You have to get out of your comfort zone, right? Get out of your comfort zone, and then study something that you have no idea of. So that means it's going to take you quite a lot of time. So you might have your full-time job working, but you also have to spend night and night trying to study to be able to gain this new knowledge that you have no idea of. And because it's so new, you have to put in more effort into it, right? So that is where the sacrifice comes. You really have to sacrifice in terms of what you want to do, right?
Absolutely
and so people like us, we don't have that computer science background. It's like, okay, or I don't have a Java background, and maybe I might get a Java work that I need to work on. So I need to spend some time learning Java, or I need to spend some time learning Scala to be good at it. And that's why I always say, man, I wish I took some more computer science classes so that I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be where I would have been better off in terms of programming languages and, expertise in some of these programming languages. I'm okay, but I'm not the best. And I hope to get to that level, but I'm not yet, right? And so that is what we all aspire for. You at some point, then you in the next 3-4 years, you want to get to this level. And that's why I see myself. I want to be that expert. And so I hope the more and more I put effort into studying and getting more projects and being able to, gain more knowledge and the skills, acquiring the skills from some of this project, it will help me along the way. That is the hope, right? And I hope it will happen depending on what project I get to work on and all that stuff, right? So definitely, any individual going into that field will have to put in more effort and sacrifice. It's very, very, very important, because that is what I had to do that. And so don't worry if you're coming from a different background, it is doable. If I can do it, if you can do it, anyone else can.
Amazing.
Anyone else can do it, right? Right. So you just have to be able to say, you know what, I want to do it. I want to learn, and I have to watch video. I have to ask questions. I have to ask the right questions. And then if I get someone to help me out, to push me, if I get like a mentor to just give me advice here and there, that alone will motivate me. Because some people, they are not self-motivators. Some people are not self-motivated. They need someone to push them a little bit, and then they are okay, right? So if you can get some of those guys to give you that little push, give you that mentorship, it helps tremendously, right?
Absolutely right.
That is what I would say to people listening to us.
That's amazing. That is so amazing, and that's absolutely true. If someone wants to connect with you, this would be probably my last few questions. If someone wants to connect with you, kind of get some advice from you, what would be the best way to connect with you? Would you like to share any of your email or whatever you feel
So
comfortable?
my email will be best. So my email is Sefah Kwame. So it is SEFAHKWAME number 6 @gmail.com.
All
So
right.
just shoot me an email, and then I will be more than happy to respond and give any feedback, any information that will help you along the way to be good at what you want to be in the future. This is a long ride that we are all trying to pursue, and no one is expert in this, right? And we help each other out. So
Absolutely.
you help each other out. So sometimes I always reach out to folks of mine if I have any questions who are in the field of data engineering, data science. If I don't know anything, I ask them. I ask the help. And they're always more than happy to help me out. And it's the same way that I give back to other people too. People don't know anything, they ask me, I am more than happy. I try to leave.
Wow.
I leave everything behind and help them, and so that I don't leave them hanging, right? And so that is the philosophy I have learned over the years.
Amazing,
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That's Kwame, a senior data engineer at PhD, number of certification, pretty good at data science and data engineering. It was a pleasure to have you on my YouTube channel, and kind of guide a lot of students who are watching this. They'll have a very nice idea what should one do in order to be successful in a data engineer. And you truly are a source of motivation. You shared your journey, how difficult or how hard it was for you from transitioning from electrical engineer to a data engineer and being a successful person in your life. Thank you so much for once again for joining. And yeah, if anyone wants to connect with you, I would leave all your LinkedIn profiles and the email in the description. Feel free to email Kwame. So once again, thank you for watching.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. And I think the name of the company is PH Data.
PhD data, right?
Yeah,
Perfect,
PH,
perfect.
PH Data.
PH data. Okay,
Yeah,
PH data.
yeah,
All right.
PH Data. Yeah, PH Data. Yep,
All right.
yep.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Kwame.
No problem. Thank you very much. Thank you for